Okay, so I'm gonna make some music right now. You tell me how good it is. Boo. Nobody? Nobody wanna rock with me? Why was that no good?
No variety.
No variety? Okay.
You want to do
Changing the rhythm.
Yeah. No lighters in the air for that one?
I remember this.
How about this? Still not getting with me. What's the problem here? I know I can make good music. What's wrong with my music?
It was for you. It wasn't really for us.
Wasn't what you like to do. Cut it off too. Because it wasn't, it had no contrast. Music is noise combined with silence. If it's just silence, yeah, that's one polarity. That's we're ready to receive, right? We're on the feminine aspect of the polarity. We're with the water now, okay? We're with the earth. We're receiving. If it's noise, if it's just constant, it literally can drive you crazy because that's a form of torture. It's on that masculine polarity where it's always put, it keeps going on and it won't rest. It's in that fire and air place. So music is when we have contrast between the two energies. Like a drum beat will be, now it's music, right? Because we have silence and then we have noise. Silence, noise. Silence, noise. Valleys and peaks.
Would the silence be like the space, like spaces, as far as the music, should it be like spaces?
Yeah, it's the rest.
Yeah.
It's the rest. It's the... Okay? So, but what we're dealing with is a high science of polarities, because the combination of silence and noise gives rise to harmony, a harmonic blend. And we can have all different layers and all different conceptual blends of silence and noise. Okay? If it's just noise, no good. If it's just silence, no good. Well, this is how you self-actualize. You self-actualize through your internal process and conceptualization of your own rhythm and music. Things are not good all the time. I know that. Things are not bad all the time. I know that too. But it is your process of vacillating, of swinging between good and bad that empowers you. Now all of a sudden you know things that the average person doesn't know because you went through some stuff. But after going through that stuff, you were able to take a breather. And during that breather, during that silence moment, you were able to process what was going on. You know, one of the challenges and why a lot of people over, I guess 30, 35, don't really appreciate the music that comes out today, because the music that comes out today, there's a process that's put across it. And that process is called maximizing. This is an actual audio term. Okay, and when you maximize a sick audio or sound, right, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get it as loud as it can possibly be. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember the old stereo decks that we had where you had a bar that would go across when you play and it said 0 here, and you know when it went over 0, you started distorting, and you messing them speakers up, you better cut it back, all right? So 0 decibels is where we have our limit on music, where it starts to distort after that. But if we can push it right up to that edge at 0, if I'm in a club and my song plays and your song plays and mine is closer to 0, mine is going to be louder. So there's an assumption if it's louder, people will pay more attention to it. And it will drown out whatever they remembered from your song. Right? But if you listen to music of yesteryear, and let's just say music that had a lot of live instrumentation, there's a couple things you're going to notice here. I'll give you a great example. You have certain tracks now that are made by like just top R&B, top 40 artists, and it's not unheard of that by the time they're done with the full production, they'll have between 200 to 300 audio tracks. going at the same time. Audio tracks, like there might be a hi-hat up here, a snare here, background vocal, kick drum, and you got about 200-300 of these things. Now, the Beatles, Motown, Stax Records recorded on 3 tracks. And that was a great innovation because most of the original stuff was just 2-tracked. 2 tracks, how do we get a change gonna come? On 2 tracks. How do we get what's going on? Marvin Gaye on 3 tracks. How do you get that? Because somebody in that studio, in that room, knew that we need more silence than we need noise to self-actualize this project. Because in the silence is when people empower themselves and they decide what's going to come next. So if I go, you can just imagine what you want in between that. So now you become a part of the process. You're now centering your music experience around you. You are the universe or the universe of that experience. Anybody ever put headphones on and listen to music? Especially like Stevie Wonder. Or something that had a lot of orchestration, Ray Charles, and you felt like you were right in the middle of it?
Yeah.
Like it was made for your head. It was. It was made for your head. Because whatever you got out of that song, only you can understand it. But now when we push everything up and we make it so loud, which is in effect making it very masculine, nobody learns anything. Because you learn through your quiet times when you pull back into the darkness of nothingness. That's when your learning comes. Anybody who's ever bodybuilt knows that your muscles only grow when they're at rest. Not when you're working out. Not when you're pushing the weight, but when you stop, when you sleep. Then your muscles grow. Well, everything reflects everything in the universe. It's like Donny Hathaway said, everything is everything. It's all related. So let's understand this Orisha energy for a second and how it deals with everything that we've just talked about. Because what does music have to do with self-actualization? Does anybody have a clue yet? Or do we need some more? No one has a clue yet. No problem. First, let's start here. What is self-actualization? What is the self?
You, the individual person.
The individual person. Okay. What part of the individual person? The part of you that's listening to me, the part of you that's processing what I'm saying, the part of you that's thinking about what you're going to eat for dinner tonight, the part of you that's thinking about what you're going to wear tomorrow. What part of you is the you?
The higher self.
The higher self. Okay. What is the higher self?
The higher self?
Yes.
As I perceive it?
That's perfect. That's a perfect precursor to your answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as you perceive it.
Okay, higher self would be, this is a 3rd dimensional level, so a higher self would be any dimensional level higher than that.
Okay, any dimensional level, exactly. So your higher self could even be your emotions. Because your emotions reside in the 4th dimension.
God.
Huh?
God.
Yeah, definitely. Is your higher self God? For sure. Definitely. Definitely. Which one though?
I've always looked at it as co-creator to the creator.
Okay.
Um,
How many creators we talking about? So we talking about everybody in here is a God, but we're like God assistants, and then we have a main God.
exactly.
I'm trying, okay, I would say I'm trying to feed it back. Okay.
I'm thinking more on the chakra standpoint, that higher, that 7, that was the 6 of that 7 chakra.
The brow chakra,
Yeah, which would be that higher self, that higher.
Son of Man,
Yeah.
the Most High. Okay? So I'm going to say, not negating anything that was said, because everything that was said is absolutely correct. And I'm not saying that to patronize anybody, I really mean that. It was absolutely correct, because you have a higher self, and then you have a reflection of your higher self. Now everything that you guys were talking about was not actually the higher self, it was the reflection of it. The higher self, you don't have a clue what it is. We can't conceptualize it in this form with this brain that works on left and right brain reality. You would explode. You'd split apart in 2. Okay? But what we can conceptualize the reflection. Okay? And it reflects itself through many different means, as all of the things that you just said. Emotions, what we perceive as God, Gomer Asdabar, some people say beauty, strength, and wisdom. The name God means. God also comes from the word gut, where it also comes from shut. And shut is an earlier form of the word soot. Soot, as you know, like when you burn a match and you take what's off of it, it's nothing but carbon. So for some people, soot and carbon is God. But that's also where we get the word shit. And shit, or shoot, or shoot, or soot is the oldest form that we have for the word God. Can you imagine that? Shit is the oldest form of the word God. That's why they tell you don't say it. Because you might start acting like it. A God. Yes.
In alchemy, I think when they talk about the negrito, that low, like that's that base, which of a carbon or that base, which is transformed, you know, and I think about it like that from the alchemical standpoint.
You're absolutely right. Let's look at it, because you're right. You're hitting something important. That being the base, right? So alchemy is what?
The transformation of well, they say the transformation of base metal into gold, but actually it's about the soul transforming itself to that higher place or that higher being.
Exactly.
More or less.
That's where we get the Wizard of Oz. The yellow, he's on down the road, but that was the Wiz. But that yellow brick road, because the yellow bricks represented alchemy. And they went to Emerald City. The Emerald City represented the heart chakra, which represents truth, that green. Even though Richard Pryor did, he kept changing the color. But in the original one, it was just emerald. He said, red is dead, the new color is yellow. He kept going around. But